Hey everyone, Max Ganderton, sports physiotherapist, and you can find more information about me if you like at www.thenaturalorder.co.uk, or you can have a look at my Instagram account, and that's at The Natural Order Lifestyle. Like those things, share, very useful. So I'm here today at one of the CrossFit box that I work at. So it's a fantastic facility, great group of people, and this is CrossFit Stone Towers, so a really good place in Canterbury, in Kent, if you're anywhere near us in the UK. But I'm going to show you some ankle or some banded mobility activity aimed at the ankle and hip. I use bands quite a bit for this purpose, and I'm just using bands that ordinarily you would use for things like assistance on chin-ups. So they're just really simple bands. They come in different colours, different strengths, different widths, different thicknesses. But for this one, you just need something sensible. Ordinarily, I'd be doing this off a rig, put my foot in on my hip and just kind of mobilise. But just to get the angle of stuff, I've just used this little platform here. I've got a couple of heavy plates on there, so it's going to anchor it down. Whatever you're doing this on, you don't need it to ping off. But if you're at home, it could be something like a tree, or if you're inside the house, it could be a heavy dining room table, something like that wrapped around the leg. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just basically have this band wrapped around there, as I just sort of had there, feed it into itself, and that's what I'm going to use to actually mobilise my ankle or hip. So I'm going to feed that into there, and if it's my hip, really simple, I'm going to feed my leg into there, and I'm going to put that into my groin area, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my leg down, and I'm going to create a pull on my hip. So that's now embedded into here. That's going to weigh me down, and I'm going to lunge forward, and I'm going to try and pull the hip backwards. So the actual thigh bone, the femur, will just feel a glide backwards, and it will stretch it out. And I can make that dynamic if I want, or I can just hold it, and I can vary the different positions. And the idea is that you just get some mobility through that hip. Really nice if you're struggling to descend down into things like squats because your hips feel tight. And certainly in sports like rugby that I work at, and CrossFit, and even things like triathlon where there's a lot of cycling, they're all really over activities of the lower limbs, so they get quite tight. If it's the ankle, it's the same process. I'm going to slide that down towards the front of my ankle, and I'm going to basically, I'll just come to the side so you can see this, I'm going to lunge forward. Now, we would use a test in physiotherapy, well called knee to wall, really simple. It's putting your foot flat, seeing if you can get your knee onto the wall without lifting your heel, and if you can't, then you need to shuffle your foot forward. So this is a mobilisation of that kind of exercise, and all I'm going to do is basically lunge forward, keep my foot flat, and then try and get some pressure. It feels like the band is pulling the front of my ankle, and it's pulling me backwards, which is good. I want that stretch. Try and keep your body relatively square as you do that. Stretch everything up. And the idea is that you give it a little glide to a bone called your talus, as it's down the front of the ankle, really useful. A lot of people struggle with ankle stiffness. It could be post-ankle sprain. It could be just stiffness through things like wearing smart shoes, like high heel shoes to work. That sort of stuff can make your calves really tight. So there's loads of reasons for it, but it's a nice little glide. I'd give this particularly if someone was saying to me, I get that front of ankle, anterior sort of ankle pain, really effective. And you can hold these things for different durations. Normally if it's a stretch like this, and again, on this one, don't worry about knees coming over toe like you would in a lunge, because that's kind of important to get the stretch, but you're probably holding that for 20 or 30 seconds. There's no recipe, but just do it a few times. It can be static or dynamic, and should be really effective just to give you some good mobility work. I hope that helps. Have a crack, see how you go, and fingers crossed it helps you to do whatever you're doing better, and try and prevent injury. That's the key. Okay, see you soon.